What if reality gets plastic and malleable? Are you ready to step into the architect role and consciously design your new identity? You are the awareness in which these thoughts appear. Feel yourself. Welcome to the Reality Revolution. This is the identity shift activation, becoming your wealthy self. The ultimate reality hack is the identity shift. What if I told you the most radical technology for transforming your reality isn't external at all, but is the very architecture of your self-concept? That the fundamental operating system upon which your entire life experience runs is simply who you believe you are. This is the mind-bending truth that quantum physics, neuroscience, and the bleeding edge of consciousness research is revealing. Identity is reality's foundation. Your entire perceptual apparatus, the way you filter information, the opportunities you recognize, the meanings you assign, the emotions you feel, the actions you take, all of it flows from this central question: who am I? Most of us operate with identities we never consciously choose. Identities cobbled together from childhood programming, cultural conditioning, traumatic experiences, and limiting narratives that we've been rehearsing for years. These inherited identities become our neurological cages, invisible frameworks that determine what's possible, what we deserve, what we can achieve, and how much abundance we can receive. They're like cosmic throttles on our potential. What if reality gets plastic and malleable? What if you could consciously choose your identity? What if you could deliberately architect who you are at the most fundamental level? This is not a new age fantasy. This is the quantum mechanics of consciousness. When you shift your identity, you literally shift the observer in the quantum equation. And when the observer changes, reality itself must reorganize around this new center of gravity. When I am teaching timeline shifting, I am teaching identity shifting. They're one and the same. The key to shifting into another timeline is shifting into another identity. In fact, you're not shifting into another timeline. You're shifting the very coordinates from which you observe all possible timelines. You're not becoming wealthy. You're installing the identity from which wealth is the only logical outcome. This is not a meditation. This is existential technology. This is consciousness hacking at its most potent. This is deliberate evolution. In the next few minutes, we're going to create a phase transition in your identity. A complete reimagining of who you are at your core. We're going to dismantle the outdated identity that's been limiting your prosperity and install a new identity architecture that magnetizes wealth, success, power, and possibility. This is not a gentle journey. This is an existential revolution. This is the moment where you stop becoming and start being the version of yourself that already exists in the quantum field of infinite possibility. Are you ready? Are you ready to shed the skin of your former self? Are you ready to claim the identity that will transform everything. Your brain, this magnificent neurobiological marvel, is constantly, ceaselessly, perpetually rewriting itself. Every thought you think, every belief you hold, every story you tell about yourself, about who you are, is literally carving neural pathways through the vast forest of your mind. I am not speaking in metaphor. This is neuroscience in its most revolutionary form. Your self-concept, this idea of you, is physically encoded in the networks of neurons that fire together in predictable patterns. And here's the mind-bending part. These patterns become self-reinforcing through a principle called neuroplasticity. When you repeatedly think, I am this kind of person, or I deserve this much success, or money is hard to come by, you're not just having thoughts, you're building neural superhighways that your consciousness prefers to travel down. And these become your default mode network, the autopilot of your identity. But when we zoom out to the quantum level, the fundamental insight of quantum mechanics that shattered classical physics was this: the observer affects the observed. Reality isn't something out there, independent of you. It's entangled with your consciousness. When your identity, your observer status shifts, the quantum field of possibility collapses differently. Different opportunities become visible. Different connections form. Different resources align. Your identity is literally selecting which version of reality you experience from infinite possibilities. And this is where the science starts to sound like magic, because your identity creates a cascade of self-fulfilling prophecies. The person who deeply identifies as wealthy doesn't just think positive thoughts about money. They perceive opportunities invisible to others. They take actions aligned with wealth. They make decisions from abundance rather than scarcity. Your identity creates confirmation bias on a cosmic scale. If you identify as someone who struggles financially, your brain will literally filter out evidence contrary to this belief. You'll dismiss opportunities, sabotage success, and interpret neutral events as confirmation of your limiting identity. Just look at the real-world evidence of identity shifts creating reality shifts. When you look at the great success stories of people who have experienced lack or struggled in their lives and become infinitely successful, you begin to see the evidence of the metaphysical technology of identity shifting. Each of these individuals experience a phase transition in who they believe themselves to be, and reality reorganizes itself around this new gravitational center. The science is clear, the evidence is overwhelming. Your identity isn't just what you think about yourself. It's the fundamental coordinate system from which you observe and create reality. When you change who you are, you change what is possible. Can you harness this power? Are you ready for it? Are you prepared to revolutionize your identity at the neurological, quantum, and metaphysical levels? Your transformation doesn't just begin with action. It begins with being. Right now, in this electric moment of possibility, I want you to confront the identity that has been limiting your prosperity, success, and fulfillment. This isn't comfortable work. This is existential surgery. Your current financial identity, the one operating beneath your conscious awareness, is a constellation of beliefs, thought patterns, emotional reactions, and behavioral habits that have crystallized into the what you call me. But this identity was never chosen by you. It was installed. Look closely at the specific limiting beliefs running in your neurological operating system. Money requires struggle. Wealth is for other people. Success means sacrificing what matters. I don't have what it takes. I'm not ready yet. If I get too successful, people won't like me. These aren't just thoughts. They're the very architecture of your current financial reality. They're the invisible prison bars keeping your prosperity contained. They're the gravitational pull keeping you tethered to limitation. These beliefs manifest as thought patterns, constantly scanning for evidence that confirms your limiting identity, dismissing contradictory information, rehearsing stories of limitation, projecting past failures into future possibilities. These crystallize into behaviors: procrastination, self-sabotage, playing small, avoiding risks, undercharging for your value, hiding your brilliance from the world. Your actions become physical expressions of your limiting identity. But here's the revolutionary insight. This identity is not you, it's a construct, a temporary configuration of neural networks, a story you've been telling for so long you've forgotten its fiction. So now in this catalytic moment, we are going to dissolve this limiting identity. Close your eyes and visualize your current identity as a complex structure, perhaps a house you've lived in for years. See every limiting belief as a room in this house. See every self-defeating pattern as furniture you've arranged just so. This has been your home, familiar, predictable, safe in its limitations. Now imagine standing outside this structure, seeing it with new awareness. This is not your true home. This is not who you are. This is a temporary configuration that has served its purpose. And now with gratitude for how it protected you, with recognition of its temporary utility, watch as this identity structure begins to dissolve. The walls become transparent. The structure loses density. The boundaries blur. Feel yourself releasing your attachment to this old identity. It is not being destroyed. It's being transcended. Let go of the need to define yourself by these old parameters. Release the gravitational pull of the familiar. And now you enter the identity void, this magnificent liminal space between who you were and who you're becoming. This void is not emptiness. It's pure potential. It's the quantum field of infinite possibility before collapse into form. This void is the most creative space in the universe. It's the place where artists, visionaries, and revolutionaries draw their power. It's the fertile darkness from which new words emerge. Feel the spaciousness of existing without constraints of your old identity. Feel the liberation of not being defined by your past limitations. Feel the exhilarating uncertainty of the uncollapsed wave function of your potential. This void is not something to fear or rush through. It's a sacred space of reconfiguration. It's the primordial soup from which your new prosperity identity will emerge. It's the blank canvas from which you'll paint your new reality. Breathe into this void. Expand with this void. Allow yourself to be undefined for this magical moment before we begin the process of conscious identity creation. This is the space where miracles happen. This is the threshold of transformation. This is the fertile ground where your new prosperity reality will take root. Are you ready to step into the architect role and consciously design your new identity? Are you ready to rebirth yourself as the embodiment of wealth, success, and unlimited potential? The void awaits your creative command. Now you stand at the threshold of creation. This is where you become architects of your consciousness, where you deliberately design the neurological, quantum, and metaphysical architecture of your new prosperity identity. Your new identity isn't built on hoping for wealth or wanting abundance. It's founded on absolute certainty that prosperity is your natural state. This isn't wishful thinking. This is recognizing the truth that has always existed beneath the illusions. In this new identity configuration, you possess a deep knowing, cellular, visceral, unshakable, that you are worthy of abundance. Not because you've earned it, not because you've proven something, but because worthiness is your inherent nature. The universe isn't keeping score, it's keeping alignment. You now embody the fundamental truth that value creation is your default mode. You don't struggle to provide value, you emanate it effortlessly through the authentic expression of your unique consciousness. Your very presence is valuable. Your perspective is valuable. Your energy is valuable. This new identity knows with every fiber of its being that money flows to you through multiple channels simultaneously. Not a single stream that can be blocked, but a network of abundance. A network of tributaries constantly seeking the ocean of your prosperity. This is not a belief. It's a recognition of how reality actually functions. Your new identity holds the unshakable certainty that opportunities actively seek you out. You don't chase, you attract. You don't pursue, you magnetize. The quantum field of possibility reorganizes itself to bring aligned opportunities into your reality. Your self-perception, how you see yourself, is completely transformed in this new identity configuration. You now recognize yourself as a wealth magnet whose very presence transmutes ordinary situations into profitable ventures. Your consciousness is the philosopher's stone, turning the lead of circumstance into the gold of opportunity. You now identify as someone who naturally recognizes valuable opportunities that others walk right past. Your perception is tuned to a different frequency. You see the hidden connections, the untapped markets, the unmet needs that represent massive value creation potential. In this new identity, you perceive challenges not as obstacles, but as exciting puzzles specifically designed for your unique skills. Problems aren't barriers. They're invitations to create solutions of extraordinary value. The greater the challenge, the greater the opportunity for prosperity. You now see your time as exceptionally valuable and worthy of premium compensation. This isn't ego. It's accurate valuation. You no longer trade time for money in linear exchange. You create exponential value through the unique application of your consciousness. Your new identity recognizes that your unique perspective, the specific way your consciousness interfaces with reality, is inherently valuable in the marketplace. Your viewpoint isn't just an option. It's intellectual property with extraordinary worth. Your relationship with money undergoes a complete metamorphosis in this new identity. You are now comfortable receiving large sums without guilt, anxiety, or the need to justify. The flow of abundance through your life feels natural, deserved, and aligned. You now experience money as a responsive energy that multiplies when respected. Money isn't static, it's dynamic. It responds to your beliefs, your emotions, your intentions. When you honor it as a tool for growth and impact, it amplifies itself through your stewardship. Your new identity maintains an expectation of consistent financial growth, not as a future hope, but as a current reality. Just as you expect the sun to rise, you expect your prosperity to expand. This expectation isn't attached to specific outcomes. It's a knowing that transcends details. You now feel genuine gratitude not only for the resources currently in your experience, but for those on the way. Your gratitude isn't conditional. It spans past, present, and future in a continuous flow of appreciation that accelerates the manifestation of abundance. In this new identity configuration, you approach all financial decisions from abundance rather than scarcity. You ask not, can I afford this? But is this aligned with my prosperity? You've transcended the economics of limitation and entered the economics of infinite possibility. Your new prosperity identity generates action patterns that are fundamentally different from your old identity. You now take decisive actions without needing excessive analysis or external validation. You trust your intuition as the voice of your higher prosperity consciousness. You commit resources, money, time, energy, confidently to growth opportunities. You're not gambling. You're investing in the certainty of your expanding abundance. You understand that resources must circulate to multiply. Your new identity consistently prioritizes high leverage activities, those magical actions where minimal input creates maximum output. You focus on the vital few rather than the trivial many. You apply your energy to the fulcrums where reality can be moved with the least effort. You now delegate effectively, understanding that your highest value lies in your focus. You build teams, systems, and structures that amplify your vision. You recognize that true wealth comes not from doing everything yourself, but from orchestrating resources toward aligned objectives. In this new identity configuration, you create systems that generate wealth while you're at rest. You've transcended the time for money paradigm and entered the realm of passive and leveraged income. Your prosperity no longer depends on your constant effort. It's built into the very structure of your reality. Your social identity, how you show up in relation to others, is completely refigured right now, in this moment, through the sound of my voice. In this new prosperity architecture, you now naturally associate with yourself abundant individuals. You're not networking. You're finding your prosperity tribe through the law of resonance. You now communicate with the quiet confidence of someone accustomed to being valued. Your words carry weight, not because you demand attention, but because you know your voice matters. Your communication isn't needy. It's an offering from your abundance. In this new identity, you set clear boundaries around your energy and time, not from fear or scarcity, but from a profound respect for your value. You understand that boundaries are not walls keeping others out, but containers that preserve your highest contribution. You now articulate ideas with the expectation that they will be well received, not from arrogance, but from alignment with your authentic value. You've transcended the need for universal approval and rest in the certainty that your people will recognize your worth. Your new identity negotiates from a position of choice rather than need. You don't need any specific outcome because you rest in the certainty of abundant options. This paradoxically makes you more powerful in every negotiation. The person who can walk away holds the true leverage. This is the architecture of your new prosperity identity. Not a fantasy, a framework, not a wish, a working system. This identity isn't something you need to become. It's something you're activating that already exists in the quantum field of your potential. Can you feel it taking shape within you? Can you sense the neurological rewiring already happening? Can you perceive reality reorganizing itself around this new gravitational center of your consciousness? This is who you truly are. The limitations were the illusion. The abundance is the reality. Let's continue this existential revolution as we activate this new identity at the quantum level. And in this moment, your relationship to time itself undergoes a radical metamorphosis. And this new prosperity identity, this isn't merely about time management. This is about fundamentally altering your relationship with the fabric of temporal reality. In this new identity configuration, you view time as an abundant resource that you direct rather than a scarce commodity controlling you. You've liberated yourself from the tyranny of the clock and entered a realm where time expands and contracts according to your conscious intention. The average person experiences time as their master, constantly running out, never enough, always pressing down on them with the weight of urgency and scarcity. But you now experience time as your canvas, a dimension you shape, stretch, and navigate with sovereign awareness. You now maintain exquisite present moment awareness while simultaneously projecting your consciousness confidently toward expansive futures. This isn't contradiction, it's transcendence. You're fully here while also perceiving the magnificent unfolding of your prosperity timeline. This dual time consciousness allows you to be responsive to current opportunities while remaining aligned with your long-term vision. You don't sacrifice the present for the future or the future for the present. You integrate them into a unified field of now that contains all possibility. In this new identity, you make decisions based on long-term wealth creation rather than short-term gain. You see beyond the immediate gratification that captures most people's awareness and perceive the exponential returns of patient, strategic prosperity consciousness. This isn't delayed gratification, it's expanded perception. You're not sacrificing now for the later. You're seeing the complete picture that most miss. You recognize that true wealth comes from compound growth, not just in money, but in knowledge, relationships, love, and opportunities. Perhaps most extraordinarily, you now experience time acceleration when engaged in value-creating activities. You enter the flow state where time simultaneously speeds up subjectively while slowing down in your perception. Minutes expand to hours of productivity. Days hold the creative output of weeks. This time dilation isn't mystical, it's neurological. When your consciousness is fully engaged in high-value creation, your brain's default mode network deactivates and you transcend the ordinary experience of time. You accomplish in hours what takes others days. And in the most quantum aspect of your new temporal relationship, you now perceive multiple timelines of opportunity simultaneously. You don't see a single fixed future, but rather a field of possibilities that respond to your choices, focus, and intentions. This multi-timeline awareness allows you to navigate toward the most prosperous outcomes. You're no longer trapped in linear causality. You're surfing the probability waves of multiple potential futures and consciously selecting the most abundant timeline. Can you feel this new relationship with time taking root in your consciousness? Can you sense the liberation from temporal scarcity with this new identity? Can you perceive the vast expansion of what's possible when time becomes your ally rather than your adversary, as a part of your identity? This is the temporal dimension of your new prosperity identity. Not managed time, but mastered time. Not scheduled time, but sovereign time. Not time that controls you, but time that serves the magnificent unfolding of your prosperity consciousness. Feel your consciousness expanding beyond the conventional boundaries of past, present, and future. Feel yourself becoming unstuck from linear time and entering the realm of quantum temporality, where abundance flows to you across all timelines. This is who you truly are, a temporal architect designing your prosperity across the magnificent canvas of time itself. Right now, in this extraordinary moment between heartbeats, become aware of the identity patterns running your life. These are not random thoughts. They are neurological grooves worn deep by repetition. They are the default settings of your consciousness. Notice how you think about money, about success, about what's possible for you. These thought patterns are not random. They're the physical architecture of your current financial reality. They are the invisible scaffolding upon which your entire experience of prosperity has been built. But what if I told you you could step outside these patterns, that you could observe them from a vantage point beyond their gravitational pull? This is the revolutionary moment where you become the witness to your own programming, where you create space between who you are and the patterns who you've been running, where you recognize that you are not your thoughts about money, success, or possibility. You are the awareness in which these thoughts appear. Feel yourself elevating above your familiar thought patterns, rising beyond your habitual self-concept, seeing your financial identity from outside its constraints, becoming the observer rather than the observed. In this state of expanded awareness, you create a neurological pattern interrupt. You break the automatic circuitry that has been running your prosperity experience. You short-circuit the limiting loops that have defined your financial reality. And in this magnificent interruption, this glitch in your identity matrix, you create the space for radical transformation. From this expanded state of awareness, visualize your current limited identity as a complex structure in the space before you. See it as a configuration of energy, information, and belief. Perhaps it appears as a geometric shape, a building, a web of light, a blob, whatever manifests for you. This structure contains all the beliefs that have limited your prosperity. Money is hard to come by. Success requires struggle. I don't deserve abundance. Wealth is for other people. I must work harder to be worthy. Now, with the power of your consciousness, watch as this structure begins to dissolve. See the energy patterns becoming less dense. Watch the structure losing cohesion. Observe as the boundaries begin to blur and fade. This is not destruction. This is liberation. These patterns were never truly yours. They were inherited from your family, absorbed from culture, created in response to past experiences that no longer matter and no longer exist. Feel the release as these patterns dissolve. Feel the lightness as these constraints fade. Feel the expansion as these limitations disappear. With each breath, release another layer of your limiting identity. With each heartbeat, dissolve another barrier to your prosperity. With each moment, free another aspect of your unlimited potential. The energy that was bound in maintaining these limited patterns is now being liberated. This is not energy being destroyed. It is energy being transformed. Energy that was once used to maintain limitations is now available for creation. Energy that once reinforced scarcity is now fueling abundance. Feel this energy returning to your field. Feel this power becoming available to your new identity. Feel this force of creation becoming yours to direct. You now exist in the sacred space between identities. The old limiting patterns have dissolved. The new prosperity identity is ready to be activated. You hover in the quantum field of pure potential, the realm of infinite possibility before manifestation. This is where miracles happen. This is where transformation occurs. This is the void from which new realities are born. Are you ready to step into your new identity? Are you prepared to embody the prosperity consciousness that has always been your birthright? The moment of your rebirth is now. From this sacred space of pure potential, we now begin to install the core belief architecture of your new prosperity identity. These are not affirmations, these are recognitions of the fundamental truths of reality that have always existed beneath the illusions. Know this with absolute certainty: wealth actively seeks you out. This isn't wishful thinking, it's quantum mechanics. The universe operates through the principle of resonance, and abundance is magnetically drawn to those who embody its frequency. You don't chase wealth, wealth pursues you, as naturally as water flows downhill. Recognize your exceptional value, deserving exceptional compensation. Your unique configuration of consciousness, skills, insights, and energy is irreplaceable in the cosmic economy. The value you create isn't measured on ordinary scales. It commands extraordinary returns as a natural law. Embody the truth that opportunities generate naturally. Through your mere presence, you don't need to hunt for chances to create and receive abundance. They emerge spontaneously in your environment as a direct result of who you are. Your consciousness is a catalyst that triggers opportunity creation in every circumstance. Wire into your neural circuitry that money multiplies around you naturally. Capital isn't static, it's dynamic. It grows, expands, and accelerates in response to your prosperity consciousness. Money flows where it's appreciated, respected, and expected to multiply. Your relationship with money is a partnership in expansion. Integrate this knowing that your personal prosperity directly enables the prosperity of countless others. Your abundance isn't isolated. It's connected to a vast web of exchange, value, and elevation. As you rise to lift others, as you prosper, you create opportunities. Your wealth becomes a force for transformation in the world. Now we transform how you see yourself at the most fundamental level. You will no longer view yourself through the lens of limitation, but through the eyes of your wealthy self who already exists in the quantum field. See yourself now through prosperity eyes. Notice how you can carry yourself differently. Your posture, your movements, your facial expressions all reflect someone who knows their value. See the quiet confidence in your eyes, the slight smile that comes from inner certainty, the relaxed power in your presence. Activate instantaneous opportunity recognition in your perceptual field. Notice how opportunities now glow with a special light that catches your attention. Where others see ordinary circumstances, you perceive value creation potential. Your awareness is tuned to the frequency of opportunity, and you can't help but notice the abundant possibilities that have always been there. Now feel the calm certainty in your decision-making. Experience how your choices now come from a place of inner knowing rather than external validation. Feel the absence of second-guessing, the freedom from needing approval, the peace that comes from trusting your prosperity instincts completely. Create a somatic experience of abundance in your physical body right now. Feel wealth as a tangible sensation flowing through your cells. Feel it as an expansion of your energy field. This isn't imagination, this is a neurobiological reprogramming, creating new sensory sensations with prosperity. Transform your perception of problems into profitable puzzle solving. Feel the excitement that now arises when you encounter challenges. Experience the rush of creative energy, the activation of your innovative thinking, the certainty that within every problem lies an opportunity for extraordinary value creation. Problems no longer stress you. They stimulate your prosperity intelligence. Now we completely rewire your relationship with money, transforming it from a source of stress to a dynamic partner in your expansion. Establish multiple simultaneous income channels as your new financial reality. See money flowing to you from various sources expected and unexpected, active and passive, traditional and innovative. You no longer rely on a single stream that can be blocked. You create a network of abundance tributaries constantly feeding the river of your prosperity. Activate the expectation of passive growth systems, working tirelessly on your behalf. See your assets multiplying while you sleep. Experience the knowing that your financial architecture is designed for automatic expansion. Feel the liberation of prosperity that isn't chained to your time and effort. Develop genuine pleasure in all financial transactions. This is your identity now. Feel the joy of both receiving and giving money. Experience the emotional shift as paying bills becomes an opportunity to circulate energy. Making purchases becomes an act of voting for what you value, and receiving payment becomes a confirmation of your worth. Money flows are no longer stressful, they're enjoyable expressions of energy exchange. Transform your financial decision-making from anxiety to aligned clarity. Feel how money choices now come from a centered place of, is this aligned with my prosperity, rather than, can I afford this? Experience the liberation from scarcity calculations as you access your prosperity intelligence that knows the correct money moves intuitively. This new relationship with money isn't something you need to force. It's something you allow to emerge as you release the old patterns. It's your natural state that's been covered by layers of conditioning. As these new neural pathways activate, you return to your prosperity birthright. Can you feel these new beliefs taking root in your consciousness? Can you sense your self-perception transforming at the quantum level? Can you experience your relationship with money fundamentally shifting in this moment? This is who you truly are. The limitations were the illusion. The prosperity is the reality. Your new identity isn't something you need to become. It's something you're remembering that has always existed in the fabric of your being. Your relationship with money undergoes a quantum transformation as we rewire the very circuitry of how you interact with financial energy. This is an incremental change. This is a fundamental reinvention of your money consciousness. Create the unshakable expectation of passive growth systems working tirelessly on your behalf. Establish multiple simultaneous income channels as your new financial architecture. Develop genuine pleasure in every financial transaction. Transform the emotional landscape of your money experiences. Paying bills becomes an opportunity to express gratitude for services rendered. Making purchases becomes conscious creation of value flows. Guide your financial decision-making from a place of aligned clarity rather than scarcity calculation. Your new identity doesn't ask, can I afford this? It asks, is this aligned with my prosperity consciousness? Feel how money decisions now flow from your center rather than your fear. Experience the freedom from obsessive analysis as you access your prosperity intelligence that knows the right moves intuitively. Reframe money as your powerful ally for positive impact in the world. Your prosperity isn't isolated, it's connected to a vast web of value creation that lifts others as you rise. Now we install the action patterns that naturally emerge from your new prosperity identity. These aren't behaviors you need to force, they're automatic expressions of who you've become. Wire in boldness while others hesitate. Your new identity doesn't wait for perfect conditions, complete information, or external permission. You move decisively toward opportunity, knowing that speed is often more valuable than perfection. Feel the exhilaration of taking action while the hesitant majority is still analyzing, planning, and doubting. This boldness isn't reckless, it's prosperity intelligence in motion. Prioritize self-investment as your highest return opportunity. Your new identity recognizes that investing in your growth, your skills, your well-being, and your vision generates the greatest returns possible. Focus on leverage as the fundamental physics of wealth creation. Your new identity constantly asks, how can I multiply results through strategic application of resources? You see the fulcrums where minimal input creates maximum output. You identify the pressure points where small actions trigger cascades of positive results. Establish system creation over personal effort as your default approach. Your new identity doesn't just complete tasks, it builds architectures that complete tasks automatically. You don't just solve problems, you create solutions that prevent problems from recurring. Feel the expansive power of thinking beyond the immediate to create enduring systems that work on your behalf. This isn't delegation, this is prosperity multiplication. Release perfectionism for valuable iteration and momentum. Your new identity understands that done is better than perfect, that momentum outweighs flawlessness, that learning through action creates more value than theorizing in isolation. Can you feel these new patterns installing themselves in your neural architecture? Can you sense the rewiring of your prosperity circuitry? Can you experience your relationship with money transforming from adversary to ally, from scarcity to abundance, from stress to flow? This is the alchemy of identity, where changing who you are at the quantum level automatically changes what you do, how you perceive what you create, and what you attract. Your new prosperity actions aren't forced behaviors, they're the natural expressions of your transformed consciousness. Now we enter the most extraordinary phase of your identity transformation, the integration of multiple timeline versions of your prosperous self. Merge the successful versions of yourself from across infinite multiverse of possibility. In quantum reality, every potential version of you already exists. The you who has already achieved extraordinary prosperity, the you who has already built wealth beyond imagination, the you who has already mastered the physics of abundance. These versions aren't hypothetical. They're actual configurations of your consciousness expressing in parallel dimensions. And right now, in this miraculous moment, you're creating a convergence of these timelines into your current experience. Collapse past successes, present opportunities, and future wealth into a singularity of now. Feel your consciousness expanding beyond linear time to embrace the totality of your prosperity journey. The achievements of your past, the opportunities of your present, the abundance of your future, all converging into this moment of perfect alignment. This isn't just remembering past success or imagining future wealth. This is accessing the neural patterns, emotional states, and quantum configurations of all successful versions of yourself across the probability spectrum. Integrate the knowledge, confidence, and expectations of your most prosperous self. This version of you already knows how to create extraordinary value, already embodies unwavering confidence in decision making, already expects abundance as the natural state. Feel new neural connections and pathways forming as this timeline convergence rewires your brain's prosperity circuitry. Experience a sensation of new synaptic connections lighting up, new neural networks coming online, new perceptual filters activating. Neurological transformation happening in real time. Now we lock in this new prosperity identity at every level of your being: neurological, psychological, emotional, energetic, and quantum. This activation isn't temporary, it's permanent. It's a permanent reconfiguration of who you are. Anchor this new identity with the power of your breath. With each inhale, draw in the energy of your prosperity consciousness. And with each exhale, release any remaining traces of limitation. Feel your breath cementing this new identity into every cell of your body. With this new identity, how do you breathe? This breathing isn't just physiological, it's binding your new identity to your very life force. Install these powerful identity affirmations not as aspirations, but as recognitions of what is already true. I am wealth in human form. I am success embodied. I am prosperity personified. I am abundance in action. I am value recognized and rewarded. My identity is the foundation of my reality, and I have consciously chosen the identity of abundance, success, and unlimited prosperity. I am prosperity itself, manifesting in human form. I have merged with my wealthy self across all timelines, integrating the knowledge, confidence, and capabilities that have always existed in the quantum field. I make decisions from my prosperity identity, not from fear, not from scarcity, but from the unwavering certainty of my abundant nature. I am wealth in human form. Abundance isn't something I pursue, it's what I embody with every cell of my being. This transformation isn't something that will happen, it has happened. You aren't becoming prosperous, you are prosperous. You're not working toward abundance, you are abundance. Feel the profound shift as your identity moves from aspiration into actuality. Create permanence in this transformation by recognizing that you haven't adopted a new identity. You've remembered your true identity. This prosperity consciousness isn't foreign to you. It's your natural state that was temporarily obscured by limiting beliefs. As your new identity takes complete hold, the most miraculous aspect of this transformation unfolds. Your entire perception of reality fundamentally shifts to reflect your new consciousness. Guide your perception to recognize the abundant nature of reality that has always existed but was filtered out by your old identity. See how the same world now reveals its prosperity potential. Notice how opportunities saturate your environment. Recognize how resources have always been available but were invisible to your previous consciousness. Bring previously invisible opportunities into your awareness. Just as switching on a black light reveals colors that were always present but unseen, your new prosperity consciousness illuminates possibilities that have been waiting for you to perceive them. These opportunities weren't created, they were revealed by your shifted perception. Align resources with your intentions as reality reorganizes around your new identity. Feel the magnetic power of your prosperity consciousness, attracting people, circumstances, information, and opportunities that resonate with your new frequency. This is quantum resonance as the field responds to your transformed observer status. Establish the permanence and completeness of this shift by recognizing that reality hasn't changed, your relationship to it has. You haven't entered a new world, you've removed the filters that prevented you from seeing the abundant world that was always there. The shift isn't temporary. It's the disillusion of the temporary limitations that obscured your natural state. This transformation is complete. This shift is permanent. This is your true identity. Welcome home to who you've always been, the embodiment of prosperity consciousness in human form. The limitations were the illusion. Implement these specific actions to reinforce your new prosperity identity in daily life. Begin each morning with a prosperity priming ritual. Before the world's noise can influence you, take a few minutes to embody your wealthy identity. Feel it in your body, affirm it in your words, visualize it in your mind. Transform your environment to reflect your prosperous identity. Your physical surroundings are constantly programming your subconscious. Eliminate objects that connect you to scarcity and limitation. Curate your influences with ruthless discernment. The information you consume, the people you associate with, the conversations you engage in, all are either reinforcing your prosperity identity or undermining it. Speak as your prosperous self in every interaction. Language isn't just descriptive, it's creative. Your words are programming both your neural networks and the quantum field around you. Eliminate scarcity language. Make one prosperity-aligned decision daily that your old identity would have avoided. Take one bold action, make one confident investment, create one boundary, initiate one wealthy conversation. Each prosperity-aligned decision strengthens the neural pathways of your new identity. Create identity anchors, physical objects or gestures that instantly reconnect you with your prosperity consciousness. Develop a physical gesture anchor, a specific movement that you can use anywhere to instantly trigger your prosperity state. Recognize that you may experience identity elastic snap, the tendency to revert to old patterns when faced with challenges or triggers. This isn't failure, it's neurological inertia. as your brain attempts to return to familiar pathways. When you notice this happening, don't resist or judge. Simply observe the old pattern without identifying with it, then consciously reactivate your prosperity identity. The most common triggers are financial setbacks, criticism from others, unexpected expenses, old social dynamics. Anticipate these triggers and create specific reactivation protocols for each one. What has transpired in these moments is nothing less than existential revolution. You've undergone a fundamental transformation at the quantum level of your being. The person who began this journey no longer exists. They have evolved into the prosperity consciousness that you now embody. You are literally a different person experiencing a different reality. Your neural pathways have reorganized. Your perceptual filters have recalibrated. Your emotional responses have transformed. Your quantum resonance has shifted. This is not hyperbole. It's the metaphysical truth of what has occurred. The world you now perceive isn't the same world you inhabited before this activation. It contains opportunities invisible to your previous consciousness. It responds differently to your expectations. It aligns resources with your intentions. It reflects back to you the prosperity that you now embody. As you move forward in this new timeline, navigate with full awareness of your prosperity consciousness. Make decisions as your wealthy identity, not for it. Take actions from your abundance, not toward it. Create from your prosperity consciousness, not to achieve it. When you encounter situations that would have triggered your old identity, remember that you're now observing these situations from an entirely different consciousness. You don't need to figure out how prosperous self would respond. You are your prosperous self responding naturally. And now I offer one final activation statement that will serve as an ongoing trigger for complete prosperity consciousness. Whenever you speak these words with intention, you will instantly realign with the full power of your prosperity identity. I am the embodiment of prosperity. Reality rearranges itself around my consciousness. My abundance expands in all directions simultaneously. This is who I am. This journey is complete. Transformation is accomplished. The prosperity revolution has succeeded. Welcome to your new reality. Welcome to your new identity. The one that has been waiting for you to remember who you truly are. Welcome to the reality revolution.